Hi, everybody. My name is Jędrek, and this is Reading in English with Ella. Ella, welcome to the program.
Hi, everyone.
Ella is an intermediate student who reads books in English, in original, and they are not books for lower level students, but ordinary, regular books. Maybe not so ordinary, in fact. Today, we want to talk about the latest book by Matt Haig, and it's The Life Impossible. Ella, what are your impressions from reading this book?
Maybe I can start why this book, because we decided on this book. We decided on once because we had previously read another by this author and was excited
It was the Midnight
Library.
We were totally impressed by that book. It was great in terms of, all the parameters that are of interest to us. And that means, the language, of course, the simplicity of it, then the structure of the book with short chapters, this is quite important. And then, of course, the story that was compelling. Ella, let's get down to the book itself. How about the language? How about the structure? How about the story? What are your impressions?
Yes, I mentioned that when I read a book in English, I want to have contact with language. And for me, it's the most important, to be honest. So when I think about this book, I think that language is very simply. So I think that also people who start to language, maybe not A1, but
but I think you can start pretty early. Honestly,
yes.
You don't have to be a mastermind.
Yes, so I think that these people can manage with this book. Of course, for me, it's very important chapters. We talk about
the length of the chapters,
yes.
right?
Yes, of course. And in this book, we have a very short chapter, to be honest.
Matt Haig did something absolutely incredible. He's able to write a chapter that is one sentence long, honestly. It's like one sentence, the end of the chapter, next.
Yes, and we have a lot of dialogues. It's very important because
lots of. I mean, the story is basically based on conversations here, so it reads really fast. It reads also very easy.
Yes, so I think that why this book is a good solution for beginners, because we have simply English, short sentences, short chapters.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of dialogues and spontaneous languages. It's not too sophisticated. We read and
at the level of language, this book is great. It doesn't have to be adapted to lower levels. It's simply great. There is one more thing that we have to talk about, and how much does the book keep you in reading? That is, how strong a grip does it have on you?
It's interesting because when I think if I want to read this book in Polish language, I'm not sure. Because when I read this book, I was a little lost in this book in terms of style. Sometimes I think that I read novels, sometimes crime story, detective story, you know, and I was lost, to be honest. So I couldn't find myself in it,
Yeah, absolutely. I had absolutely the same feeling that however great is the structure of the book and the language and everything, the story itself or the characters maybe that Matt created for the purpose of that story, they are not really so much compelling. That is, I was kind of curious about what's next, but not so much. It was more about really the fact that the book reads quite easy, but not the story. The story was not really, for me at least, wasn't gripping. Like, so this book is not, unfortunately, a page turner. It's not like you turn the page with what's next, what's next, what's next. It's rather
Yeah.
it's rather the structure of the book that makes it easy to read, but not really the story.
Yes, I agree with you because when I read this book, it was nice, to be honest. But I didn't have that feeling of curiosity. You know, for
Exactly.
example,
Exactly.
when I read Midnight Library, sometimes I thought about this book all day and I wanted to come back my home and
Yeah,
started
and read some
to
more. Yeah, and read
yes,
some more.
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I had
But
the same thing.
maybe you remember, I read this book very long time.
Yeah. It was even though it's not a short book, it's quite a break, but absolutely, you had to somehow force yourself. Okay, it's English time, right? Time to read something in English. Well, it wasn't like the story wasn't as compelling as the one that Matt had in the Midnight Library.
Yes, so
I think he was. I think I don't want. This is not a literary review, by the way. We don't want to do that. But I think he tried to put too much into one story, and that's why the result is kind of the story is lacking some kind of a central, I don't know, focus point, whatever it is. I'm not a literary critic, but definitely the book is written in simple language. Its structure is great. The story compared to other stories, let's not forget that we are comparing it to other books that we read, and it's maybe not exactly 5 stars out of 5.
yes, but at the end of the day,
Mhm.
I read this book very well, to be honest,
Yeah.
especially for maybe not beginners, but especially for people who learn English, because I mentioned we have good language, good structures, and so on. So story is like, it's not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, I'm far from saying that. It's just that it's not gripping. It's not
Yes.
like, it's not a. It doesn't turn this book into a page turner, because perhaps I think it's something about the characters that he created, or something else. But the story is not so gripping, even though it's set on a beautiful island of Ibiza and whatnot. It's kind of. But like I say, it's almost like he had some sort of a market research, and he put all the elements of a great story into one pot, but somehow the result is not a gripping story, but simply a story.
Yes, but generally we recommend this book
Yeah,
because every contact with text in English it's
absolutely.
great.
Absolutely. And if you are to read a book, then go for The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. I think it's a time well spent, and you may also um, counter our opinion about the story, perhaps, because I think it's individual. All right, great. Ella, thank you. Thanks so much for your reflections about, once again, Matt Haig's The Life Impossible, the latest book by Matt Haig. Thanks so much,
Thanks.
and see you in the next program.
Bye.
All right, bye bye.